Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk you through 7 things I wish I knew when I started lifting. Now, the first one is something I see happen all the time, people still try and do it to me, and that's don't let others influence you. It's just human behaviour. People are like sheep. If 99% of people ran and jumped off, one person ran off and jumped off a cliff, 99% of people would follow them. Don't just copy what other people are doing. You need to stay in your own lane, unless the person you're copying is very well educated. But then what they're doing, if they're very advanced, is probably not applicable to you if you're a beginner. So don't just copy someone else, and also don't listen to like a Big James or whatever his name is down the gym, who told you, oh, you need to go and do 5 sets of 5 bench press and squat, and squat's the only way to build big legs, for example. That's another bro science myth. Dorian Yates had pretty jacked legs, yet he didn't really squat after his first year of training. So therefore, do you have to squat to have big legs? No. So don't be tunnel visioned into just what other people think. Don't let other people influence you and be negative. You have to have an open mind, try and get yourself educated as quickly as you can, and that'll be the key to you succeeding and progressing forward. Ultimately as well, you have to think what your aspiration is and what your goal is. If you want to look like a bodybuilder, then you want to be doing that style of training. If you want to be a CrossFitter, then go and do that style of training. But be aware of who it is you want to look like, and try and maybe gravitate to that, towards that style of training and diet, rather than having like a counterproductive training style towards your goal, if it makes sense. So that's my point number 1. Don't listen to Big James down the gym. Do your own thing, stay in your own lane, and if you've got a coach or anything like that who's working with you, just listen to what they say and adhere to it perfectly. Or if you've got any questions, ask them. Point number 2 is building muscle or losing fat is actually very simple. Now, where most people go wrong with this is lack of patience. You're not going to get jacked overnight, you're not going to get shredded overnight. It is a process. Hence why all of my sign-up periods that work with me directly are a minimum of 12 to 16 weeks, because I know realistically I can crash diet the shit out of anyone. Like if you came to me today and said I want to lose 5 kilos in a week, okay, I need to lose that, but you're going to feel like crap and it's not a good idea. So the most important thing is being patient. So what most people do is they start a new training program, they get progress for a week or 2, it stops, and then they jump and they do something else, or they give up completely. Now you have to be patient, because for example with fat loss, it is a process and it is relatively simple. In basic terms, you need to put yourself in a calorie deficit. So that's burning more calories than you're consuming. Do that consistently for a period of time. Your body weight will come down, your body fat will drop, you will get leaner. It is that simple. In terms of building muscle mass, it's pretty much the same the other way around in a basic term. Put yourself in a slight calorie surplus, say 300 to 500 calories a day, set up a decent training program, focus on doing that training program consistently, sleep well, stay hydrated, focus on getting a little bit stronger every week, take your body weight up gradually, you will grow muscle. It is that simple. It's not rocket science. At the basics, at the beginner level, you can progress so quickly with just being a patient approach and not trying to rush things. Point number 3 is genetics and train to your structure. So this is where a lot of people go wrong, particularly with beginners, if you're not aware of how the body works in terms of biomechanics and what exercises suit you. If you go into the gym and you've got on your training program, for example, to do a barbell squat, and that doesn't necessarily fit your body type very well, then don't do that exercise, swap it for a leg press. Or like myself, I would do a barbell squat with my heels raised, because it puts me in a better biomechanical position. So I have a very long femur, so the bone from my knee to my hip, which means that for me squatting becomes a lot of lower back and glute rather than quads. Whereas if I have my heels raised, it puts more of the loading into my quads, which I'm trying to target in a squat, not necessarily my lower back and hamstring. So one thing I want you guys to be aware of is your genetics, where you're strong, where you're weak, build your training program around that. If you've got, say, a really weak legs in terms of muscle mass, maybe you want to focus on training those more rather than just training your chest and arms. That would be an example. Everyone's genetics are different, everyone's body parts are different, so try and break things down and be specific to you as an individual. Point number 4 is your physique will look different due to the time of day, lighting, various different factors. This is where I have done it in the past, I end up mind myself, and other people and clients often get this as well, is that say for example with me, I look very lean first thing in the morning when I wake up because I'm dehydrated overnight, and as the day goes on, I look softer and fatter as the day goes on. And also you have to bear in mind, if you go to different gyms, you have different lights, different mirrors, it can make you look entirely different. If anyone wants to know the most anabolic gym mirrors and lighting in the world, King Gym in Croydon, that's why I do a lot of filming there. shout out. So like you have to be aware of these factors because sometimes they can have a mental effect on you. But being aware of these things means you can switch off and not let things like that play with your mind too much. So be aware of how different times of day, lighting, even traveling, so flying for example, will make you retain water. All these factors will have an influence on how your body looks and can affect your mind. So try and stay strong to that. Point number 5 is be structured when it comes to your training and nutrition. So the number one rule that like mistake probably most people make is they have no overall plan of what they're trying to do. They just go to the gym, I'm gonna go, I don't know, do some arms. Like there's no idea of, okay, today I'm doing arms, I'll rest tomorrow, and then I'm gonna do back the day after. You have to have an overall structure and a general plan of what you're trying to do. That's the best way for you to progress. The same with nutrition. If you don't know roughly what you're doing, then you have no plan at all of what you're doing. You're not serious with the goals, you're not gonna get results. I'm not saying you have to live like a Spartan lifestyle and eat per gram of rice, but if you have a rough idea of, okay, I eat 3 to 4 meals a day, I roughly aim for 30 to 40 grams of protein each one, I only have carbs post-workout as an idea, that would be an overall easy structure for someone to follow. But having a structure and an overall program which you adhere to and have like a general like goal of where you're looking to go to will help you get there faster, rather than if you have no structure or program at all, you're a ship with no directions. You're going to go in circles and circles, ultimately waste your time, waste your money. I was that guy when I was younger. I used to train loads, had no real set structure, and guess what, I didn't make a lot of progress. Point number 6, which is probably the biggest thing I've learned most in the last year, which bearing in mind I'm a very advanced trainer now, I've spent shit tons of money on education, training seminars, working with some of the best trainers in the world. This year I've worked with Ben Pekulski, Milos Sarcev, to name but 2 of them. I'm going to a Scott Stevenson seminar in a few weeks in Edinburgh, Scotland. Now, in terms of what I'm getting to here, and the big key take-home point, is when you're training, think about the muscle you're actually trying to train and put tension through the muscle. Don't think about moving like as heavy a weight as possible from A to B. Think about how much like tension and damage can I create within this muscle by moving this from A to B. So it's almost how difficult can you make the exercise. You use the weight as a tool to cause muscle damage rather than just use the weight as an object to move something from point A to point B. This is the key to building like serious dense muscle tissue and also protecting from injury and having joint problems and also having the best, like most aesthetic physique possible. So that would be my big take home tip that I personally taken home this year. Point number 7, newbie gains are real. I completely screwed mine up, so make sure you don't with yours. The best thing you can do when you first start the gym is get educated, get the best training program and system you can in place with nutrition, and you can progress so quickly. The first 6 to 12 months is like the holy grail of muscle building and fat loss. If you get your everything like on point, the adaptive response to have never done weight training before, your body will absolutely fly. You can build muscle, burn fat superbly quickly. It's literally like pouring jet fuel on a fire. You will literally just blow up. So that would be my big suggestion to you. Newbie gains are real. Make the absolute most of them. Do not waste this window of opportunity dicking around doing free arm guides you find on the internet. Get a decent training program, decent diet, and you will make world-class results from newbie gains. So these are my top 7 tips that you guys need to know, and I wish I knew when I started lifting. Let me know what yours are, drop a comment below. Please subscribe to the channel and smash the like button on this video.